this is the first big test for Beck. He's not getting to be at home. He's getting to play with his easy bake oven and just lob them to McConkey and just hand it off to Bowers. It's going to be easy. Now they're playing a non-ranked, probably 40th ranked Auburn team. New coaches, new staff. They ain't recruited in the top class. They ain't had 100 yards of passing since
they don't throw the ball
since mid-season last year.
7 straight against D1 competition.
Really?
Yeah.
But when you play at Auburn, there's just something goes on down there. You better bring your lunch with you.
Yeah.
And I heard that Georgia did bring their own porta potty.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
I thought that was a joke.
No,
they really did,
man, because it's just a different kind of game. That game just hits different. And I know we joke it's the oldest rivalry in the South. That game's been played since the early 1880s.
You can about throw out records with Auburn sometimes, unless they're just god awful.
Well, they are. Todd Dean had 100 yards of passing. Now they run the ball well against Georgia. Well,
they did run the ball good.
And Gus, I'm sorry, Coach Freeze.
Been a while.
Coach Freeze takes over play calling yesterday, and you could tell Auburn looked fresher. They got more guys coming in motion. They're throwing little bubbles. They throw it out screen. They run the ball well. Hunter I thought he run the ball pretty good.
He did.
But what we know, and Burge knows as well, this team that won it last year for Georgia, that was the team that really was supposed to win it. I think that first team that won it probably kind of stumbled into something, like Alabama has stumbled into titles a time or two. You just do sometimes. Sometimes you just get lucky during the season. You win the right game, and then you catch a team off guard.
Right.
Yep.
Georgia probably wasn't supposed to win it that first time.
You think they're supposed to have won it last year?
I think they're supposed to win it last year. That's when they had all the houses. That second win is not the surprise. The first one was, but now they lost all those guys, and they're struggling around. They're being bopping around, and it showed. They nearly lost that football game because they keep fiddle farting with people and let them hang around in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes left, and they finally get Bowers on the right play. And all Auburn had to do was catch a few more balls, and they should have chipped Bowers more. When he's coming off the line, if you're going to bring pressure and blitz and play man on the corners – when Bowers, if he's part of the line, attached to the line, like they say, elbow, freaking shoulder bump him when he comes off. I mean, he's a big guy, but it's football. I mean, grow a pair and shoulder bump him. Now, if he's out separated as a receiver, they try to double team him a lot. They did, didn't they, Birds?
Yeah, they try to, even the coach in the postgame, Auburn's coach said that you try to bracket him every now and then, put some different coverages at him, throw zone at him every now and then.
They don't do any good, though, does it?
You just got to admit, they're just good, man. So break us down more in the game and tell us your thoughts on how you feel about Georgia after the game, before and after, and what you thought about it.
Well, before the game, I mean, Vegas had it, about a 14.5 point spread.
14.5, yeah.
Yeah, and you were, first on the road at Auburn. One of the positives that I come up with is, no false start penalties, no pre-motions, none of that. I guess Kirby had them ready for the sound. I guess they said that he actually blew the speakers at one of the practices a week ago.
No, really?
So, and he says it's probably because the speakers were old, but anyway.
That's okay.
They got to blast it out.
Yeah. When you look at the yardage breakdown, Auburn was 11 for 20, 88 yards passing with 1 interception.
Lord,
they had 43 carries for 219.
219.
That's good. That's a good stat.
125 was from the quarterback position. 61 yards on that one run by Peyton Thorne, which kind of opened everybody's eyes.
That was a good run.
Thorne to run. I didn't.
Nobody did.
He ran forever, too. That seemed like 110-yard run.
He's just not very fast.
It was 61 on that one, yeah.
He runs about a 5.6 probably.
I mean, I'm like, my gosh, how far is he going to run?
Not very far. It just looks like
he's so slow. Okay. It did look like I'm like, when's he going to score?
I think it was a play from the left hash, so he ran toward the right hash on the edge and then finally got on the edge,
It would have been like a 95-yard touchdown run if he'd scored, though, right?
Yeah, it'd have been a long one. Yeah, Jaquiz Hunter.
Yeah.
Running backs together had 94 yards rushing. Jaquiz Hunter had 59 on 19 carries for a 3-yard average, and Brian Battie had 8 for 35 for 4.4. So the long run helped their average come up to 5-1 against Georgia, 219 yards. Beck was 23 of 33 for 313
Hey, that's fantastic. But
with one
okay,
touchdown and one interception, and he was 70. That's what 70%.
70% for 313 yards. But he sucks. I mean, I don't understand.
Sucks. Garbage. Get him out of there.
Do you like him, Benton?
I like him because
Okay.
you know Kirby says, you know,
I
they're
like
like,
him too.
how do you keep him from being panicked or whatever? And he's like, the dude's not panicked. The dude is even keel. You know, losing the game, whatever. He's still in there, keeping everybody settled. We only had 107 yards rushing, which that could be in part to how you got to go down the field and throw the ball a little bit.
That shocked me. That's not Georgia usually rushes for more yards than that.
How many of those was Edwards?
All of them, just about.
No, Edwards had 76. Okay. Dylan Bell had 4 for 25. Okay. Carson Beck had 6 yards, and you know the other two guys were out, either out or smoking mirrors.
Milton's out.
Yeah, he was there. He was never going to tote the ball. He went in. Okay. He went out there a couple times, and then the big freshman, he's not even. He didn't even dress. So hopefully we can get those guys back before too long. McConkey, I'm not sure how many reps he had, but he was big on third down. This is the first game he's played all year. You know, so I mean, when I broke it down, I looked at the drive charts. Anytime Auburn had to drive the field, they only got 3. They got their touchdowns on a fumble starting the second half. First play,
we saw that one.
You know, they got the fumble in the short field, and then they had an interception that looked like it hit the guy right in the helmet and bounced up 10 yards in the air and intercepted the pass. I don't put that one on the quarterback myself, but you know, they had one more turnover later on. So you had 3 turnovers. So you lost the turnover battle by 2. And I feel like if you don't turn the ball over, which obviously it changes the game big time, because they could drive the field. They were between the 20s a lot, but they wasn't getting in the end zone. Georgia, I think, was 9 for 13 on third down and 4 of 4 in the red zone. So,
and you know that
4 of 4.
That comes from, I mean, turnovers comes from players being in the right place for Auburn. Hats off to the defensive coach for having them ready.
Yeah, the punch out by you know, against Oscar Delp there, man. That was
just smart football.
Great play. Yeah.
And those are type things that Georgia needs to see, because they hadn't. I mean, you know, they just ain't played. They ain't played a real good schedule. This shouldn't have been that close of a game. You would have feel like going in that they're going to win this thing by 30, but Auburn was ready, and it's not a knock on Georgia. We're just being real. That team they had last year, guys, please know that was one of the best college football teams. That's one of the best teams Georgia ever had. These guys were loaded last year. They were supposed to win it. And all those guys are gone. Their running game with Edwards is okay. Bell's decent. And Bowers is the only real difference maker they got. McConkey, he runs the best routes you probably ever seen in college football.
He's good.
He is very good. And he's going to make some money somewhere. But Bowers is Kelsey and Gronk type. This guy's going first round probably. I'm going to say he goes 5th. Round 1, pick 5. That he goes to – maybe he'll go to my Eagles. Probably not. But
no, they're not going to get
– I know, but I can still wish.
I feel like that a lot of people are
they might trade up.
They feel like Georgia doesn't push the ball down the field.
They did there towards the end, didn't they?
Yeah, you know, most times it was to Bowers. You know, they're like, you got to keep the ball to Bowers more. We had 14 targets. What do you want?
I've heard that you had to get to Bowers more, and they're getting on Beck about not throwing downfield, but Beck has to do what the play calls.
And Bobo's an idiot, and you can roll him up and throw him up against the wall somewhere, and he ain't going to stick because he's full of crap.
They throw a lot of screens, don't they?
I'm just not a fan of his. I didn't like him as a player. Birds, me and him's done this 3 or 4 times. I just don't like him.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that you don't like him, but if we were all blindfolded, we didn't know who the offensive coordinator was, you could not tell the difference.
Really?
I mean, the play calling is the same. I mean, still running play action, still running the same run plays. I mean, it's the same. It's not any different. Everybody's big knock on Bobo was he runs it up the middle. He always runs it on first down. He always passes on third down. I mean, I don't know. I'm indifferent about Bobo. I don't care really one way or another. As long
the knock I've heard on him is the screens. Too many screens. I mean, I'm just asking you if that's true. I didn't see a lot of screens.
No, I don't even remember the couple that we did ram. I think got blown up.
But I think that's that they were saying. They don't want to see no more screens.
Well, then it has to be So if the play calling is the same, and a lot of it is the same, I'm still not a fan of his. Then Auburn is better than what they say they are. They're like 30th in defense in the nation, which is not bad. I mean, I think by point scored or something, Bama's right behind them like at 34.
Mm-hmm.
But so the players are just not there like they was last year. And this team is just. It is what it is. And Bama, that's what I told you back first year. Being a Georgia fan and winning it back-to-back, get ready, Georgia people, to just constantly hear, well, why ain't you going to win it again? Because that's all Bama fans, you're just expected to win it every year. What's wrong with winning? If Georgia loses a game, then, it's not the end of the world. And you just got to – facts are just facts. They're just not going – they don't have the dudes that they had last year. They're just not there. Now, are they going to win some games? Well, I hope so. I mean, sure, they're going to win some games. They ain't going to.
I would say the only dudes that they don't have that were there last year is on the defensive line.
Big difference.
Secondary is better. I feel like the receiving core is better overall, but everybody's like, well, you didn't throw it to anybody else. Well, why the hell would you throw it to anybody else but Brock Bowers?
Well, I don't think they have the guys. I just don't think
Jack Saint's pretty good.
And Bama's are not better either. I mean,
Alabama.
Thomas. I think it's a good group.
Yeah. Helm is he's the only one at Bama see my NFL prospect.
Well, yeah, but he didn't catch a ball yesterday.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And just as the conference in general, I'm just not impressed. I did this last week. I'm just not impressed with our conference. I don't see us winning the national championship. If that's the best, because what's going to happen? What happens when Georgia runs up on a quarterback like a Quinn Ewers, or they play an Ohio State that's got Hosses at receiver and it's got a dude that can sling it all over the field? Georgia's beat. Because
I'm not sold that Ohio State has a dude that can sling it all over the field.
But their receivers are elite.
Yeah. They do have receivers that are elite. I agree.
Man, McCord can do it. And if their defensive line can get enough push to play, I'm just not impressed with Alabama's offensive line. I'm not impressed with Tennessee's line. Florida's is bad. They can't even get a push.
I feel like there's a lot of parity. I feel a lot of parity. And
I think there is. And I will say this, and I don't want to get on. I don't want to hear another. Quit talking about this boy's appearance. I don't want this freak being our. I mean, he's thrown for 1,400 yards in 5 ball games. Beck.
Yeah.
Quit talking about his appearance. Quit talking about how terrible he is. I'm sick of it. Okay.
Well, but that's what you're going to have, because if you don't win every game by 30, then you're terrible.
And you're talking about the way he looks?
Well, that's just people.
I just think
how they sleep at night.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care. It's just
I
people
think
talking.
a big test this week, because we're the biggest test is going to be against that defensive line.
They got a tough game. Kentucky's good.
Yeah,
Kentucky. I mean, I'm not going to pick Kentucky to win, but
But Florida's just not real good.
Well, I don't know. They hammered Tennessee.
Yeah, but Tennessee's just beating up on South Carolina. How bad is South Carolina?
Well,
the conference just ain't great, gentlemen. We're the covers of the SEC. I just don't see us winning it. I don't know.
No, you don't see the SEC win the championship, period.
No, I'm about Missouri, Kentucky. Missouri's like carrying the flag. Like they're beating teams like you should beat them. Like if you're playing a non-ranked team and you're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you should beat the brakes off. You should have a 3-touchdown lead on it. At least 3. It shouldn't be 3 minutes left in the game and you score late to win. That's not how it should be. Now, some games are going to be close and you don't play as well, but Georgia's done it week after week after week after week, and it's not fair to them. I'm not picking on them, but it's not fair to them because they're holding them to this standard like they're that team they was last year. They're not. Just calm down. Bama is not that team when they had Waddle and Michie and Smith and all those guys. We can't throw the ball like that anymore. We don't have receivers that can separate. Nick Chubb's
I think Bama can do it other ways, though.
Nick Chubb's been gone from Georgia a long time. He's elite. Remember when No Sean Marino played? The dude, No Sean Marino was a freak. Those guys have been gone. Stop trying to make Georgia into something. They got good players, and they're young in places. Wait till this team plays next year.
I think that I think Georgia and Alabama in the SEC championship game.
I do too.
And next year they play regular season.
The question that I have is when they both get there, what is their ranking and who comes out of it with a chance to get in the playoffs?
They better not lose a game. Neither one of them. Georgia better not go up there and lay an egg to Kentucky or something like, or Florida later on, or just go to sleep one day and not have that fourth
Georgia
quarter.
has Ole Miss as well at home.
They play, because they have a fourth quarter thing. They wake up and like, oh crap, we gotta win. We keep fooling around here.
Well, they won it when they had to. They drove right down the field.
Yeah,
Notre Dame did. Ohio State did. I don't.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Kirby. They said,
"Better catch up with you," is what he said.
Yes.
What are you going to do to help make your team a better first half team? He's like, help me out. Tell me how I can do that because we're trying. That's what he said.
It's a mental thing of the kids. It's just sometimes you just have kids that are mentally. I don't know. That's a good question. And it's not ability. They got plenty of. Alabama's been doing it all year, man. Dude, the first part of the Mississippi State game I'll talk about here in a second. We got the snapper hitting the quarterback in the side of the face with the ball, and he's looking at the receiver trying to get him set in the right play. And he gets the ball hit in the face. And Saban crawled Benson, the receiver's butt, because the quarterback shouldn't have to be telling him to play, you idiot.
Oh, yeah.
Pay attention. Hold yourself accountable. God almighty, man. We just got kids that are just not wanting to be accountable. And you got good leaders on Georgia's team like the McConkeys and Bowers, and you got some guys that are just being foolish. There's news, a lot of news around Georgia about some players leaving. There's trouble down there. You having stuff going on campus and apartments. That's kind of stuff. I told Benton this back when me and him did a show. You was out one. I said, man, get ready for it. Everything, well, without that paper, the article, everything that happens at Georgia is going to get. If one kid gets busted with weed, the whole team.
They're all smoked up.
Thugs, selling dope and cocaine, heroin down there. And this one kid gets busted with pot. It's like a third string tight end.
Yeah, I know.
That Georgia fans, that is how it's going to be. So if you want to be an elite and you want to play up here with the big dogs and be number one and win national championships, that's just the crap you got to deal with.
Well, hell, half of it's coming from your own crowd.
I know that don't make no sense. That's the part that don't make no sense.
Yeah.
But Georgia's going to play at.
No, they play at home.
They're at home next time.
They're not going to lose to Kentucky. Not at home.
I mean, I could see it being a normal Kentucky game. I could see a 27-17. I mean, it's not going to be.
Kentucky plays them okay, but
yeah.
I'm thinking 31-14, 31-16.
Does Ray Davis have another good day?
No.
Does they go over 200?
Lord, no.
No?
I don't think I think that's the first time somebody's run for over 200 in 5 years on Georgia. And I don't think that happens again the rest of the year.
He may have a good game because I think he's a good back.
Yeah, he is good. Yeah, and that's the thing. Kevin said this team's still trying to find out its identity, and here's the reasons for that. The same thing with Alabama. Why are they still finding identity? But, guys, do you realize that the SEC is probably the only conference that's got about every quarterback is new except Daniels and
Jefferson.
Jefferson and Hooker at
you meant Rattler.
Rattler, at Mississippi State.
Yeah, right.
So, Roger.
4 out of 14.
Yeah, So this whole conference, the quarterbacks are the leaders of the team. Whether you like it, that's just kind of how it just kind of goes.
They're new on 10 teams.
They've been on the team, but Milroe has just not really played a lot of football. He got baptized. Welcome. You get to play Texas, one of the premier teams. They're ranked in the top 5 right now. You get to play a top 5 football team, and they still should have won the game because they had 2 touchdowns called back. But he turned the ball over. That's the problem.
I think that was part of the problem there, Matt. I think he's just inexperienced. He ain't played a lot of ball. I think Alabama beats Texas. Now, I think
he's doing good now.
I like Alabama. I mean, I don't know if I like Texas as much as everybody else likes Texas.
I kind of like them.
I don't. I'm not a fan.
I don't.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the same thing, Kansas game. I just give you the stats on. Yeah, they pulled away late. That was the score you want to see. And if the score if you just flip through it and go 40-14, well, dude, I'm watching the game at halftime. It's 14-7.
Yeah.
They could not pull away because you just have these teams that are just kind of going through the motions, and we just don't have a lot of elite players. And the quarterbacks are all in the NFL. Look at the NFL. They're loaded. Look at all these quarterbacks, and look at all the receivers that are from the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Big house linemen, they're from the ACC. So after a 15-year period, at some point in time, if you keep dipping water out of a well after 15 years, the well's going to get dry sometimes. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a dip. Not that it's not going to come back up, because it is. There's a high school class that's coming out of Georgia all the time, and there's some quarterbacks coming in this next class. Auburn's going to have that white kid. He's supposed to be good. Alabama's got a kid, and Georgia's got this Rayan kid. And then who's the kid at Bama coming, Rayan?
Same. You talking about from California?
Yeah, these kids are supposed to be good.
Oh, yeah.
So you got some people coming, but our conference in general is just not great. And Bama's finding their identity. I think they found some identity this weekend. But my takeaway from the Georgia game before and after, what was your after takeaway when the game was over, Birds?
The main takeaways were gave up too much on the ground, didn't run enough on our side on offense, not as dominant as you want to be on the offensive line. Can't turn the ball over. You got a W, but you can't do that because you're tempting fate when you do that on the road, especially. Yeah,
and Auburn had 7 or 8 drops. Wide open, hits guys in the chest.
Mm. Yeah, if Auburn has more talent, Auburn wins that game.
If they had one guy, if they swapped one of their receivers from McConkey, Auburn wins.
Yeah.
Because Georgia's not dropping balls. Bowers ain't dropping the ball.
No, he don't drop much.
He ain't dropping balls. I expected the game to be a 36-13. That was my initial. And then
I thought it'd be bad. 42-17.
As it gets into the game, and then by halftime, I'm just thinking, like, what are they doing? I hadn't really got to watch Georgia play because I just ain't interested in seeing them play East Limestone County or Piggly Wiggly Community. It's not interesting. And and I see the scores, they flash on the screen, and it's like 21-18. I'm like, what the hell? What are they doing?
Yeah.
I don't know what this team's problem is. Bama has the same problem. They wait and fiddle fart around. So going in the game, I thought they would win by it's bad, man. They can't even throw for over 100 yards.
I thought they beat them bad. I actually thought the spread was 27 and took
20.
Georgia.
I would have took Auburn because I thought they'd do it by 20.
Yeah. Then I found out it's 14.5.
And after the game, takeaway was Auburn played with a lot of heart.
They did.
They tried hard, and Georgia's got some problems they're going to have to fix.
Yeah.
And some of it is not ability. It's head stuff. They got to quit thinking so much. And the quarterback seems comfortable. I like watching him play. I don't think he's terrible.
No.
He does throw behind a little bit sometimes. His timing can get a little rattled. But if they play somebody that's going to be shucking and jiving and getting after him, if Bama gets after him and throws him on the ground a few times, he better be ready for that kind of stuff. And he just ain't played a lot. Like Milroe, that Texas game, he gets thrown around 5 times. Heck, the South Florida game, he got sacked 5 or 6 times.
Mm-hmm. No, remember he didn't play against South Florida.
No, the game after when he come back, he gets sacked.
Yeah. Ole Miss, the first half he got sacked 5 or 6 times.
See what I'm saying? Those are maturing processes, and if him and Beck, if they can grow and learn during those times, so Georgia's got things they need to fix, and Auburn played with a lot of resilience.
Mm-hmm. They did.
They did. That was. And I'm looking forward to this week too. It'll be some good games.
Oh gosh, yeah, there's some great games. Great games.
But the last game on the list, the 108th meeting of the Bulldogs and the Cowbellers, one we'll call them the Fighting Cowbells. The game opens up 3 and out, 2 sacks for Alabama. Looks like the same team we've been seeing. Kool-Aid muffs another punt, almost turns the ball back over to Mississippi State. They punt again. They go another 3 and out off of a bad snap. Off the one I just told you about a while ago. He's over there hollering at Arnold trying to get the play in. The center hits him in the side of the face because they can't hear because they're ringing cowbells. They can't hear. 5 minutes in the first quarter, it's still zeros on the scoreboard. Now, Milroe takes all the scrambles for about a 50-yard rush. This is the first quarter's over. 0-0.
Yeah.
All Alabama did was punt and have bad snaps.
See, I didn't get to watch the first quarter.
A total crap job. I'm standing there hollering at the TV the whole time.
It was out. They had the LSU game on.
Well, it was on ESPN News.
It was out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got to watch it.
That's bad, isn't it?
I watched it, and he didn't miss much. They didn't play well at all. No passes. They didn't throw the ball the first quarter. Now, Alabama's not given up a passing touchdown to Mississippi State until this year, since 2014. And it happened this year. But Mississippi State has the ball. Latham tips it up in the air. The Broswell tips the ball, and he takes it in for 6. That was big. That's what I alluded to last week about this team. They're an emotional kind of estrogen kind of team. I don't know if there's a lot of testosterone oozing out of this team like you had with Orlando McClain's and Rashad Johnson's. They react off of feeling. Like when they get pumped up, then they react.
When something happens good.
They're good.
They don't make it good.
No, they'll fly through the rest of the game. They're pumped up. They're good. They get the turnover belt, and they need to be recollected like they never had nobody at home told them they was ever good at anything. When they get petted one time, then they're good. They're good the rest of the night. Mississippi State wound up having the ball some. They moved the ball around the field. They ran the ball better, and they run the ball.
They did run the ball good
on downs that Saban said we didn't expect them to run the ball on like a 3rd and 6. They run the ball, and they were not terribly bad at it either.
No, they were not.
There had been no touchdown passes, was said, since 2014. It was 14-0 Bama at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
So we're just through one here. After the 0-0, they stopped Mississippi State in the red zone. They wound up getting the field goal, 31 yards, made it 14-3, 12 minutes till halftime. And it's just kind of a plunking. And they're getting yards here. Milroe scrambled out, and he wound up running for a bunch of yards. He had a good night. Overall, he had a good night. 34-17 at the end of the third. That's when you feel like this is secure and they got the job. I was happy with Black.
Oh, my gosh. He looked fantastic.
He had a good night. I thought he had a really good night.
And he's a tight end receiver for Alabama.
Number 84.
84. He's good.
Milroe round up. 10 for 12, 164. Rush for 70, had 2 touchdowns. McClain was 63. That's not enough. And no touchdown. The Black had 61. Benson, 27. On defense, Campbell had 14 tackles, and Caleb went out with 13.
Guys, I want to tell y'all a unique statistic on those 14 tackles. Guess how many of those were solos?
9.
0.
9?
He had 14 assists, which – ironically, still counts as a tackle.
He led the team in tackles.
He led the team in what they do in college football. You have tackles. That's where you lead.
Yeah.
And then assists. He had 14 assists. But like
Caleb
you said, he led the team in tackles.
I think Caleb was 13 and 9 solo. I think I remember seeing his was the one that was 9.
Yeah, and had 4 assists.
Yes.
Which total 13.
They only had 6 flags in the game. That's
good.
That's okay. That's improvement. Bama's got we've had 5 or 6 touchdowns called back because of flags. Stop. God, man. 357 total yards. But here's the key. The best statistic that Milroe had, guys, the number one statistic, no turnovers, Burge.
I agree.
That's what you want your quarterback to do. Just don't turn the ball over.
83%. He hit 83% of his passes.
Don't throw a pick. And here's the problem he has, and he's going to learn as he goes. And by darn, he will run the round scrambles like Bryce did. He'll lose 5 yards before he throws it away. By God, he thinks that ball is sewed to his hand. He will lose 5 yards. And when that got Saban hot on him, and because he knows when they play a legitimate team, not some non-ranked team, that's going to cost you a game. You don't go up there and play Georgia and scramble around the backfield and lose 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 15.
You're probably not going to get it.
Now you got to play because the Georgia's D-backs are going to be a little bit better than Mississippi State's. Okay, let's just be honest.
Yeah, I didn't think Mississippi State was great, but I did think Alabama played well.
They did. Rogers was 15 for 27. He had over 107. Had a touchdown pass we talked about since 2014. Number 44, that Jet Johnson, he had 14 tackles on the day.
Wow.
154 yards, team rushing.
That was a good stat for them.
That's not that's not terrible.
But overall, they didn't give up a bunch of yards. Alabama did.
No, and Mississippi State they stuck their ground pretty good. I mean, McLean only had 63. Roy Dale had 40 or so.
Mm-hmm. They're power bags. They get those hard yards.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying Haynes is better, but obviously Haynes is not better.
He played late. They put Simpson in. They put the backups in fourth quarter.
Because there's no way this guy can be better than who's down there playing and him not playing.
He's good now.
He's going to be, yes.
I'm a Roy Dale fan, personally.
I like McClellan and Williams. I like the way
I'm a Vandergrift fan for Georgia. I just am, man. I watched him in high school. I got attached to him, and he's good.
But there's and Benton, we don't know how it got out. We don't know if anybody meant to get it out. But there's a misconception here that Alabama's fourth-team running back is unbelievable, and he's a lot better than the three they're playing. There's no way this is true.
Well, here's the reason why I think you're not seeing him playing yet. One's probably playbook. Second thing is, how is he picking up the
blitz?
The blitz.
Okay.
He's a heck of a runner. Don't get me wrong.
Well, they may be meant. Okay, and I may be being too harsh on it. Maybe he is a better running back than all of them. Mm-hmm. But like you said, he's not getting the whole. He's not getting the whole picture like the others.
And he could be getting the whole picture. He could just be saying, "Hey, these guys, they put their time in. They're here. They're not. It's not like they're causing you problems. They're good.
Right. No. McClellan or Williams, they're both playing well.
So we're going to roll with them until they show otherwise. That's kind of my thought about it.
Well, it comes to a point in coaching ball and stuff. What am I taking this guy out for? Yeah. It's like you coaching a ball game and some kid comes up and put me on kickoff team, coach. For who? What am I taking them off for?
No, Callie, we did high school the first hour of the show. We're talking about college stuff. Jeff Anderson feels like Aaron Owen's going to Ohio State. I don't know about that.
Aaron Owen? No, I don't think we're McCord there.
So coming into the game for Bama and my takeaway going out, coming in, I just look for them not to turn the ball over, see if we can run the ball. And, how good is this offensive line? Do they really want to step up and try to make a difference? They did play better.
I think they played better 2 weeks.
The center, it had some problems, but I'm going to take up for him. I was old fat boy center, and those cowbells in your ears, man, you can't hear. You don't know what's going on. You can't hear nothing. And defensively, I think Bama's defensive backs, and we're missing players. We're still hurt. Lawson's still out, guys. We still have players out.
He's good, too.
And we have our play caller on defense not playing. So I thought they did fairly well for missing your main play calling player. He's got to get back.
Yeah, he's good.
If he don't play against A&M, we're going to have they're going to have a lot of trouble with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because from Paterno calling the plays and Johnson slinging the ball around, they're going to try to run it some. Then A&M is big up front. They've recruited well, remember. They had their more recruiting class.
A&M's playing good right now. They really are. The last 2 weeks, they're playing better.
We got to get those players. I know everybody's got banged up players here and there. They need to get those guys back. So I look for those things. So after the game, the takeaway was, I guess it'd have to be an A for the game. They did win. They won big like you should against the team. And they did run the ball. I still want them to see it, but they couldn't get a lot of yards, but Mississippi State studied on them. And Alabama's going to get everybody's best shot. Everybody wants to be the team that beat Bama, just like Georgia does now. When you're the champ, everybody wants to say they're the one that beat the team that won it last year. Everybody wants that shot. That's just how it is. So not a lot of penalties. They held to 150 team rushing for Mississippi State. Yeah, so let's see if they can get ready to play in A&M.
Yeah, I worry about A&M. For some reason, I've told Matt this, Benton. I've never, and I don't know why, worried about them playing Mississippi State, except when Prescott was there.